What's up, podcast? Welcome to Press Sports RealTalk. I'm Drew Williams, and I'm joined by my co-founder Conrad Cornell, as well as our friends Kieth Marshall and Isaac Nunez. So in this podcast, we'll be bringing on premier athletes from all ages and sports who are going to be telling you guys their stories and giving you guys some very valuable insight. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The podcast is brought to you by the Press Sports app. Join the community today and download the app. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to episode 1 of Press Sports RealTalk. My name's Conrad Cornell. I'm the co-founder of Press Sports. I'm here with Drew, Isaac, and Kieth, and we're excited to bring you guys this podcast. A little background on me. From Atlanta, I played baseball at Mercer University in college. Had a really tough time in the recruiting process. Now I'm starting up Press. Been doing it since college. Drew and I started this app our senior year of college, and so yeah, basically we're just grinding out, trying to make this as good as possible for you guys. Drew, you want to talk a little bit about yourself, your background?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Conrad. My name's Drew Williams. I'm a co-founder with Conrad for Press Sports. Basically, Conrad and I started out when we were seniors in college. I went to Ole Miss. The reason why I wanted to make it with Conrad is because I played high school sports. I didn't play in college, but I still wish that I had kind of a place with all my highlights and just a place where I could either compare myself to other people or just to look back on it. So I don't have the same experience, as Conrad when it comes to the college grind, but for me being a 10th prestige in Call of Duty, I can definitely relate into different things, as in working all night on that, and so there's
Yeah, right on. And so our other two co-hosts that'll be on here regularly with us. One of them was a running back at University of Georgia a few years back. You guys probably all know him, Kieth Marshall. You want to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, man, appreciate it. So Keith Marshall, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. Grew up playing ball my whole life. Got really, was highly recruited. Ended up at Georgia, where I played for 4 years along some great players. Man, it's a great experience. Got a chance to get drafted by the Washington Redskins. Was up there for a few years battling injuries, man. So this last year, I'm kind of transitioning away from ball. I linked up with Conrad and Drew and Press Sports through ATDC in Atlanta, man. I was just really excited about the opportunity they presented, kind of the goal of their startup. Man, I think it's something that's great for kids coming through that recruiting process and wanted to be a part of it. So I'm looking forward to, what's to come.
Right on, Keith. And our last, regular co-host can be Isaac Nunez. He's a freshman at University of Florida, baseball player. He was a real, catalyst in wanting us to get this podcast going. So he's going to tell you about himself and a little bit about what we're going to be doing with this podcast.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Start off very simple. I was born and raised in New York City. I moved to Orlando, Florida, my sophomore year of high school, just with my dad. Left all my family behind and just to pursue baseball. Obviously, in Florida, it's a different type of ball game, so that's that. Originally, I was committed to St. John's University, and then I decommitted and committed to the University of Florida. That's where I'm at now. I started my own brand back in 2016 called Team Trust the Process, but just along the way, I had to come through some adversity with it, and also just being a college student, coming through some rules, couldn't have it. So I decided to partner up with Press Sports and just basically give them the idea and give them the account and let them run away with it. So for those who don't know what Press Sports Films is, it's basically a stories, documentaries, and podcasts where we like to share the lives of athletes around the world. We like to tell everyone's story, from kids, from the big names that we all have heard about, to someone you've never heard about from small towns and small countries and small counties, just to share their stories with everybody in the recruiting process as well. So, definitely shining light on, giving everybody a platform to share their stories. And then the podcast is going to be more so about talking about certain topics that everyone can relate to. So, it can be certain questions about the recruiting process. It can be about, dual sport athletes. It can be about, just a plain conversation about life and, how to overcome certain adversities. So we're going to definitely have a lot of people on this podcast, from baseball players, football players, volleyball, tennis, lacrosse, all platforms of sports, not just, what Press Sports was originally known for, which is baseball, but, all the sports in general. And then the documentaries, as far as that goes, picking certain athletes that we feel like, everyone should definitely see a daily routine from them. They could be a big time name, or it can be a small time, kid, and basically just share their day in the life story. So, Press Sports Films definitely going to take off from here, and, very excited to see where it takes us.
No doubt.
Yeah, when it comes to kind of this whole Press Sports Films thing, it's a little bit different than the app, and how, we love to see all, everyone's athletic accomplishments in form of footage, which we're actually adding in photos to the app here in a little bit. But Press Sports Films is really telling the stories behind what made those athletes who they are. What did they go through to get to where they are, to what everyone knows them for? And Keith's actually a great example of that. He battled more adversity than anyone I've ever heard of with his knee, and yet, goes out to the NFL Combine and smashes like almost a record-breaking 40 time. And so, yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. Keith, tell us a little bit about that, and what you went through with your knee, and
Yeah, I
how you.
guess, man, just, throughout the recruiting process, kind of like my man was saying, you kind of get put into a bubble where everybody looks at you in a certain space, and people, tend to forget on the outside looking in that you're just humans and you have emotions and you go through things just like everybody else. And so, I think part of what we're trying to bring with this podcast and with the Press Sports Film is to show that other side of athletes. Me, like Conrad was saying, I dealt with a lot of adversity that a lot of people may not know. I haven't come out and spoken about it. I'm sure, the average athlete has gone through adversity. So this is just a platform where people can kind of get the full picture of an athlete, not just, what's in the headlines or the stuff that's the highlights. We want to get the whole story. So I think that's what we're aiming at doing.
100%. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be bringing on big time guests that you guys know. We're also going to be doing a special for National Signing Day. So if you're a senior who's signing on National Signing Day next Wednesday, or is it next Wednesday? It's February 5th, right, guys?
Yeah, it's the 5th.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what day of the
Uh,
week it is, but might be Tuesday, but yeah.
Hit us in the DMs and let's set up a time for you to do a quick 3 to 5 minute interview about your recruiting process, your journey, how you landed on the decision to go to the school that you choose to go to and sign that national letter of intent. That's one of the greatest days of your life you'll never forget. We want to feature as many of you guys as we can. We'll have an awesome National Signing Day episode, so definitely hit us up about that.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have probably, what do you think, Conrad, 20, 30 people on at least throughout the day, just interviewing, doing small interviews.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see. Yeah, see how many of you guys sign, I guess. But yeah.
And also, for everyone out there that basically doesn't know, that you guys can email us at films@pressportsapp.com if you guys want to join the podcast, as far as sign up to be on one, be on the episode, or if you want to be a documentary person, just email us there. And then if you want to sign up for the stories for our social medias, just go to our Instagram at press.films as of right now. And please just go to the link in bio. There's a little jot form. Just fill that out with the best of your abilities. And, going on to a little more detail about the stories, I know a lot of people are definitely kind of around the question, as far as like how do they want to answer that question of, what's their story. So we want the stories to be very personal, obviously with your consent to post and post publicly, but definitely a moment in your life where obviously everything hit the fan for you. You felt like the world was against you. Just sharing a moment where it's like, hey, like, this person in my family either, passed away, or, a very, very serious injury happened to myself, family, friends, something happened, but definitely a very personal story. And, we want to share that with the world, Not so. I got cut from my sophomore year. Something more personal than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys,
you can email us we're gonna read everything that you email us. So if you think it could potentially get up there, just go ahead and shoot it.
Yeah.
And a little more on this is, we're looking for some in-depth stories. This is told in the first person. How it works is you put your story in and you send in a photo, and we edit up that photo to actually become a painting of you, to kind of paint the picture of the story behind you. A kind of a example that resonates with me is my own kind of recruiting journey. A lot of stuff before that, but in high school I didn't have any college offers. I graduated with no college offers. I remember on college T-shirt day, my senior year, everyone was wearing their UNC, their Georgia, their, all the big schools they were going to, and I didn't have I wasn't going anywhere. I wore a Yasiel Puig jersey and was furious the whole day. After the picture they took of our whole class,
the Yasiel Puig jersey.
And after the day, after that picture, I was so mad. I just left school and went to the cage, started grinding, and it ended up working out. The summer after my senior year, committed to Mercer a month before school started my freshman year. A guy named Nathaniel Lowe transferred to a junior college, and I got his scholarship, and he's now playing in the big leagues. So stuff works out if you if you just stay after it. And we're excited to tell you guys' stories and get this thing really up and going. We're gonna launch the first one.
Yeah, and I think
we'll be launching.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, we'll be launching the first official podcast February 3rd at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That will be very consistent. So for everybody who has a nice daily routine, every single morning, Monday morning, 10 a.m. Standard Eastern time, we'll be dropping a new podcast video. So stay tuned for those, and we'll keep it very consistent with you guys, and hopefully you guys can add listening to that on your way to school, on driving your car, or just doing some homework. So definitely stay tuned for those.
Yeah, and talking about what Conrad was saying, Conrad's story I've of course known because I was best friends with Conrad growing up our entire lives, but I think Conrad's story is a good kind of first story to lead off all the stories, so we'll probably throw that one up sometime on the website for you guys to see.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, hey, Keith, you got anything to add before we close it?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I got a question for Keith. I think this is good. Okay, so with the knee injuries and all that, what would you say was the tougher part? Was it the mental aspect of that, or the physical, or a little bit of both? What would you say regarding that?
For me personally, man, it was difficult to have to take a step back. Being a competitor, you always want to work hard and kind of prove yourself to be one of the best. So anything that sidelines you for a while, you're not able to do that. That was tough mentally. In college was different because I had a lot of people around me, between my teammates and the support staff at Georgia, where I wasn't isolated. Once I got to the league and I was by myself dealing with injuries, that was tough for sure, because you just didn't have that, you didn't have someone to talk to every day. You're kind of doing rehab. I was in another city, just doing rehab every day by myself. That was definitely tough.
All right. I hear you, man.
Hey, thanks for sharing, Keith. And
sure.
All right, guys,
we'll get deeper into it as we go in the podcast. We got a lot to share. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, remember to subscribe to this podcast so you get the notifications when we throw up a new one every Monday morning at 10 a.m., like Isaac said. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Yeah. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter page got taken down because of copyright on some music, so we're rebuilding it. Anyway, guys, it was awesome time. First episode. Can't wait to share more stuff with you guys. Thanks for listening.